its establishment in 1998, the Electoral Commission's Forum of SADC countries has continued to play an important role in capacity building of election management bodies to fulfill their mandate through peer learning and promoting good electoral practices towards democratic elections in the region. In the last 23 years, the Forum has consistently held seminars along its annual general conferences on specific thematic issues on democracy and elections. And the theme for this year's seminar is aptly titled Stakeholder Engagement and Accountability to Promote Public Trust in Electoral Processes in the SADC region. And this theme serves to explore options for the role of the ECF SADC in promoting sustainable democratic governance in the SADC region. Mm-hmm. The seminar will therefore provide platforms for participants to explore and discuss challenges faced by electoral management bodies in their efforts to restore public confidence in electoral processes and to rebuild their institutional credibility through effective stakeholder engagement. The seminar will be looking at the electoral instrument and its provisions on stakeholders, international standards and guidelines for open and accountable election management, and the overview of stakeholder engagement practices in the region. Stakeholder mapping for effective engagement and strategic communication for effective stakeholder engagement. And the delegates will then be sharing ideal or best practices in their respective countries. The second thing that the seminar will be looking at is that we will be having 2 case studies where electoral management bodies, Namibia and South Africa, will be sharing their experiences with the stakeholders in the region, where Namibia will be focusing on political party funding and how we deal with our stakeholders, which are political parties. And South Africa will be sharing on their engagement with the media. For example, South Africa has a disinformation law, and they have platforms where you can report hate speech. And the rest of the EMBs, we want to look at how can we also then tap into or implement these measures in our environments or in our countries. Mm-hmm. The seminars will also have the perspective by international organizations that deal with stakeholders on international level, and they will be doing a comparative analysis. And lastly, the seminar will also have discussions where they will unpack and expand on the issues highlighted from all these presentations and provide recommendations on how to deal with stakeholders in the future.
Now, Ms. Ndengu, you earlier on touched on the theme for this year's seminar. Let me just repeat it there, which is stakeholder engagement and accountability to promote public trust in electoral processes in the SADC region. Please elaborate further for us on this theme.
ECF strives towards its vision of a dynamic culture of electoral democracy in the SADC region, which is conducive to transparent and credible elections. Thus, the theme during the seminar will then set a tone and shape for a policy brief on this theme that will shape the way forward for all electoral management bodies in the SADC region on how to improve our relationship with our stakeholders.